This is the one you've known as Jesus the Christ. If you could see from the divine's eyes, you'd see yourself everywhere and see yourself in everything. And if you knew yourself as God, you would experience yourself as being everywhere and in everything. Every experience is an experience that God is having. This is oneness. Oneness doesn't mean that everything looks alike, but that everything is animated by the same force, what I've been calling the divine or God. Your intimate experience of life is God's intimate experience of life. Within creation, God is expressing in great diversity. Nothing is identical, everything is unique, and yet everything is made of the same stuff. A good metaphor for this is clay. Infinitely many shapes can be formed of clay. A woman, a dog, a butterfly, a flower, an anteater. And yet each is fundamentally clay. These things that look so different are fundamentally the same. They're different and they are the same. This is one of the great paradoxes of life. Everything is unique, but everything is the same at its core, in substance. And so it is with you. You are formed from God, although you appear as different forms. You believe you are these forms, but your true nature is that of God, that of love. The most essential quality of your true nature is love, so you could say that everything is most fundamentally love. Love is the substance from which all creation is shaped. Love is the clay that life is made of. God experiences itself through its creations. God is surprised and pleased with the variety of expressions that is possible. What fun! Each new expression of itself is a new experience for God. God is continually discovering what is possible and what it's like to be something it has never been before. God loves creating and exploring life through its creations. God loves the adventure and loves the learning and evolution these experiences bring. This joy of being alive, of exploring, of learning can be felt within you. It is the joy of God, the joy of the divine within you. Your joy is God's joy. The creations themselves have a very different experience, since most are not aware of their fundamental divine nature. Eventually this is discovered, but initially God is lost in creation in such a way that the creations believe they exist as separate entities rather than direct expressions of God. This sense of separation allows God to have a unique experience through every creation. A video game can be a useful metaphor for understanding this special relationship between God and creation. When you play a video game, you pretend you're the character in the video game. While you're absorbed in that game, you forget who you really are, although you still exist as the player of the game. So it is with God. God intentionally becomes lost in its creations, while continuing to exist as God, in order to fully experience all the possibilities in being something or someone. Like an actor playing a part, the more fully you become the character, the richer the experience is. God splits off in this way, but God can never really forget the truth. The truth is temporarily suspended for the purpose of exploration, but at some point the truth is remembered or realized and returned to. This is what happens in the human journey. God, while remaining God, gets lost in the human experience. Lifetime after lifetime, God pretends to be a particular character, until one day that character has explored the human condition fully enough and is ready for a different adventure. The metaphor of the video game is good for making one other point. The character in the video game, although engaged in terrible challenges, is not shying away from those challenges, blaming others, complaining, or playing the victim. Instead, he or she meets each challenge courageously, doing whatever is necessary to overcome it. That courage and perseverance is in you too. That strength and drive to overcome all odds is within you too. That capacity to meet life's challenges rationally is within you too. However, that's as far as we will take this metaphor, since violence is no way to deal with challenges. But to the extent that the character's actions represent acceptance of what life brings, courage and perseverance, this metaphor is useful. Throughout the experience of being the human character you're playing in this lifetime, the possibility exists to realize the love, peace, and strength at your core. Your true nature is always available to you, no matter what your circumstances are. Not only at the end of your earthly lifetimes is it possible to realize your true nature, but also to some extent throughout your life as this character, potentially in any and every moment. The truth of your God nature is not that hidden from you. When life is hard, you're meant to draw on the qualities of your true nature, and you often do. Without the challenges of life, there could be no growth, no discovery, no learning, no evolution. There are places in creation where God rests from all challenges and has little or no experience. But God loves a challenge, and so does the God in you, if you're honest with yourself. The real dragon to be overcome is the fear, discouragement, victimhood, and negativity of the human mind. Without those, a dragon is just something to be dealt with, not something horrible, scary, overwhelming, or that shouldn't have happened. Without your human emotions, you would simply do what needs to be done and experience little suffering in the process. Without resistance to life's challenges and the emotions that follow from that, you would enjoy the experiences of life, or at the very least, find them interesting. Every new experience is interesting to your soul, to God. Life is interesting. Why label something as bad and resist it, or become upset over it? Resistance to an experience and the emotions that follow from that are what make an experience bad, not the experience itself. The challenge you must overcome in this video game called life is your own negative mind, which creates negative emotions. Once you overcome your negative emotions by mastering them, then any challenge you face in life will be manageable. The character in the video game doesn't have the luxury of having emotions, and neither do you if you want to be happy. You determine your own happiness, not circumstances, by what you say to yourself and how you respond to any circumstance. You are not a victim of anything that happens to you. There is no such thing as a victim. Victimization is the experience of believing you're a victim. If you believe you are a victim, then you feel like a victim. Believing makes it so. The biggest challenges in this life are of this nature, the machinations and stories of your own mind. Life itself is simpler than the mind makes it. The mind complicates life by making it all about me. But life is not about you or any other individual. Life is not personal. It is what it is, and the way to get through it is to tap into your innate, God-given strengths. Love, courage, compassion, gratitude, and peace. Find God within yourself, and your life will be transformed. God is hiding behind the scenes, but God is not all that hidden. God is evidenced in every feeling of happiness, love, peace, joy, strength, and courage, and in every wise, loving, and rational thought you have. God is right here, because there is nothing here but God. The character you're playing is God play-acting. The other characters are God play-acting. The scenery and setting were created by God for God. The actions you take are either God or God allowing the character to act according to its beliefs and illusions, which God put there. This is all to say that there is nothing that isn't of God. God says yes to it all and enjoys it all. God fights with God, and God makes love to God. God is doing it all and enjoying it all, including the drama and suffering, because God created it to be the way it is, and God is willing to have the experience it's having through its creations. When you have realized this sufficiently, you'll also enjoy the ride you're on, and you'll learn to travel the ups and downs more gracefully, with more love and less pain. The winners of this video game called life are the ones who learn to be in life without suffering, who accept life as it is, and who love life as it is, and as God does. Game over. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your strength and courage and willingness to grow. I am with you always.